Welcome back to the Mike Huckabee Show. We are live from Tampa, Florida at the Republican National Convention. We are at Liberty Plaza and the Clean Coal Pavilion. Joining me now is Brian Brown, president of the National Organization for Marriage. And Brian, when we talk about what your organization's all about, maybe more than ever before, it really is in the crosshairs because President Obama is the first president in U.S. history that has advocated openly for a change in the definition of marriage. Talk about the significance of that in itself.
Well, I think first of all, I think it was a big mistake on the president's part. And I think that the reality is, as we've seen in all of these state votes, most recently in North Carolina, the people of this country know that marriage is the union of a man and a woman. So I think what President Obama was doing was sort of pandering to the hard left of the party. And that's really unfortunate because in a lot of these states we work closely with Democrats. State Senator Ruben Diaz in New York is a very close friend, pastor in the Democratic Party, and, you know, he is shaken by this. A lot of Democrats are shaken by this because there are still, good Democrats out there who still understand what marriage is. And unfortunately, what President Obama has done, and now what we're going to see the DNC do, is just hitch the Democratic Party to same-sex marriage. And I think what is happening is you're going to see in key swing states like North Carolina the Democratic Party lose members, but also I think lose this election.
Brian, there are people who, when confronted with this issue, just say, look, what difference does it make? I mean, why is it that Republicans, or for that matter some Democrats, care that there might be a different definition of marriage? What does it hurt you as a married person if we had same-sex marriage? How does that affect you?
Well, this is the myth of the idea that same-sex marriage is a live and let live idea. It really isn't. When you change the definition of marriage, it doesn't just affect, the two folks down the street. It affects everyone. It changes the public definition of marriage. It changes what is taught in the schools. We've seen this in Massachusetts and California. Kids as young as kindergarten taught that their parents are bigots because they believe marriage is the union of a man and a woman. We saw this recently with Chick-fil-A, where you even have mayors of cities saying that if a public citizen stands up and says he believes marriage is the union of a man and a woman, then they're not going to allow them in their city. There are two ideas on the table. One is that there's something unique and special about men and women coming together in marriage. And the second idea is that there isn't anything special or unique about that union, and that those of us who think that there is are the equivalent of bigots. That "and" is important, and the law has been used time and time again to remove the tax exemption of religious organizations. In Massachusetts, we see a religious organization who was actually told it can no longer adopt children at all, not because it's taking state funding, but because it's discriminating, because it can, according to its religious beliefs, place children with same-sex couples. It then loses its adoption license, no adoptions at all. This is a profound it undermines marriage as the union of a man and a woman, and it is a profound redefinition of a core truth of society that marriage is the union of a man and a woman, and it will affect us all.
The irony of what you've just described is that it is the application of discriminating against a group in the name of fighting discrimination. That's what I find just remarkable, and it seems to be pretty obvious, but not apparently to the liberals who think that that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, this is the great irony, and I think people are waking up to the fact. I mean, with the shooting at FRC, and our prayers continue to be with Family Research Council. I just saw Tony earlier, Tony Perkins. You have a group called the Southern Poverty Law Center who says that, with a straight face, that the Family Research Council, which stands up for marriage as the union of a man and a woman, is the functional equivalent of the Aryan Brotherhood and the KKK. And then, with a straight face, actually go on television and say, we're not doing anything wrong. It is the same. They're lying, so we're going to make them a hate group. This has to stop. It shouldn't be accepted on our side. We should have a civil debate. Hatred, violence of any kind, we all need to condemn. But the sad thing is that right now what I'm seeing in this country is that the other side is being given a pass. We can't allow that. No hatred of any kind.
Brian Brown, President of the National Organization for Marriage, thanks for joining us today. Look forward to talking again.
Thanks again, Governor.